Melissa, as Big Blue Foundation's Chief Scientific Advisor, for you, what are the most important things to consider in terms of the way we operate as an organisation?
So, for me, one of the most important things to consider and to be quite integral about is not being, to coin the phrase that's been used in literature, a parachute scientist or a parachute organisation. I've been in the Maldives on and off for 13 years, and I've seen projects come and go, and basically things start and finish. We're not particularly interested in that kind of a format. We really want to be entrenched in culture, society, and beautiful islands like here in Adu, where we can contribute not only support for local communities, so capacity building in situ, but also incredibly robust science. So everything that we do at the Big Blue Foundation is led by the literature, but also we're working with in-country scientists as well. Ultimately, they're the experts here. So we're listening to them, we're working with them, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Maldives National University, and various other NGOs as well as up-and-coming young scientists and passionate climate activists. These are the people that we really want to work with, and we're incredibly lucky to have quite a few of those people already on board with us. Another one of the things that we find incredibly important is, yes, you have a conservation project, maybe you're doing wonderful activities, but actually measuring your conservation impact is incredibly important, and having a methodology or a metric for doing that is paramount. So how I would operate as a conservationist, and I'm hoping that, of course, Big Blue will take on board all of the suggestions that I have. So we are particularly committed to being able to measure our impact month to month, year to year. But this isn't just necessarily, ticking KPIs or generic box ticking. We're particularly interested in having published and reliable metrics within the conservation literature for actually measuring the impact of what we do. But in the same vein, we also are quite keen to measure the impact of our science communication. This communication is going to be key in other countries, English-speaking countries, but also here in the Maldives. And again, that's why it's so important for us to have really good local partners, because all of the material that we produce, it's going to be translated into Divehi as well for the local community. Now, I touched on the non-parachute scientist idea. We're here for a very extended period of time. I've already been here for 13 years, and for sure I'll be here for at least another 13. But in order to understand the likelihood of success of conservation projects, especially ours, which uses drones, I'm doing the first marine conservation sort of technology adoption and acceptance model building. So what I'm very interested in is, yes, of course, flying drones and building methodologies for citizen science by the local population, but also understanding what is the likelihood that drones will actually be used long term in the communities. And it's not necessarily just the communities, it could be anywhere where technology is introduced. And this is actually an engineering concept from my engineering background, and it's never been done before in marine conservation. It's quite common for conservation or even international development projects to introduce different kinds of technology or infrastructure, and unfortunately the failure rate can be quite high. Things break down, people don't want to use them. I'm very interested in teasing out the barriers and challenges to technology use in small island nations like the Maldives, but also in coastal zones as well. So that's a very big part of what we're going to be doing here with the Big Blue Foundation.